Hey, this is Sylvia Lydia Morelos. You guys read my stuff on Google. I reported it to the federal government for whom I work and military. I'm the commander in California, state of California. This is the evidence that I was talking about. Actual blood, menstrual cycle blood. Um, in the Gab Band video, um, Party Train, David Griffin's in it, the lead singer. There's a little girl running away from someone on the grass. It's a little girl with dark little girl with light brown hair. It's depicting Bobby and myself. We're fraternal twins with like big underwear on, like dark blue, purple underwear. It's kind of nice. That's what it is right here. And it has to do. I don't know. I'm going to find out what it did to Bobby as a little boy, but this is what it did to me as an adult with my irregular cycles, forcing them. I usually get my period on the 21st. And these illegals this morning, facilities management, you'll see them right here. They're in there as well. Wolfgang Puck. David Griffin is not involved. They turned off the light to Stacy Q. Rubio's is Stacy Q. If you look at the video, How Will I Know? You'll see Stacy Q on there, and that light used to be on. They turned it off. The workers there, all of them are involved. What happened this morning as well. Oh, look, there's one standing right next to the ice machine staring at me. What the bitch illegal wetbag's gonna do now? Got that. That's recordable, so. Yeah, they're involved. They're involved in a lot. I've taken pictures of all the terrorism on the table, the ice machine, the threats to U.S. military. They did one against mothers in the military. It's May 10th. It's June 10th. And Mother's Day falls on May 9th in Mexico and on the 10th in the U.S. This is attack on families, directly on Mother's and Father's Day at the same time. 4th of July is coming up. They went through with their attacks. I took pictures of the ketchup and the Carl's Jr. Cup attacking the military. And they're also involved in what they did to Harold M. Weiser. And I was the inspiration for her. She ended up wearing 2 of these instead of 1. I always wear 1. I started wearing 2 of them afterwards because I usually wear 1. I started wearing 2 of them afterwards. And then they're threatening Bobby. They murdered his infant son. They murdered Jesse and his infant son, and they murdered 2 of my fetuses when I was pregnant, when I was 20 at 6 weeks in Glendale Abortion Clinic. That's going to open up a can of worms, huh, Patrick? And they killed my fetus in 2009 in San Diego Behavioral Health Systems in UCSD Hillcrest. And I have received a bill for Medicare, so I can prove it at Tina Baker's Boarding Care, 2438 K Street, 92102 up 25th and K. Selma Hayek implicated herself. She's directly involved. She's been a problem for me before. If you see in the Daily Bruin newspaper, I used to be a writer for the Daily Bruin Viewpoint paper in 1997, Winter Quarter 97. You'll find the periodicals, the actual newspapers at Kirchhoff 118. I posted them online a few days ago. And she's in there, 97, threatening that she's going to be me in the future. And she did it recently. That's not her, that's me stealing my identity. And she's wearing black in a black leotard in the picture. You can go through my Google Drive, you'll find it there. And she threatened to be steal my identity in the future. And Matthew Perry and her, I met Matthew Perry directly, not personal, but I used to work at the alternative action programs off of Ocean Park, off of the number 8 line in 1996. And Matthew Perry, I think the sitcom Friends had just begun, so I wasn't really aware of the sitcom because I had never watched it. And I was the administrator behind it. Dennis Giroux and Marilyn Giroux, 2 EULA grads. I didn't know that at the time. They hired me full-time after working part-time because I left school for a little while to work full-time. and she was happy about it. And Matthew Perry showed up one day and said, "Don't you know who I am?" And I'm like, "No." O.J. Simpson's daughter also attended that program, Alternative Action Program. It's a program for it's a program where courts send a DUI criminals to instead of doing jail time, drug diversion or Alcoholics Anonymous classes when they're driving under the influence, under drug diversion or AA, and they go there and they do 3 months or 1 year or 3 years. And Marilyn Jerome was my boss at the time. Elias Altran, Autran, when he had hair, ended up working there. I trained him before I went back to school full time in the fall, which Marilyn wasn't happy about. And a lot of stuff that I can talk about there. And anyway, that's what's going on. That's around that time in '97. I went back to school fall of '96, and I wrote for the Daily Bruin '97. She's in there, winter of '97, and she is threatening to steal my identity. I can prove with Jennifer Lopez is the one whom I didn't figure. I didn't realize what she was doing until I looked at all her pictures yesterday. Well, she looks just like me. And then she made fun of the woman in it's a Flashdance. It's a Maniac. From my understanding, Billie Joe Armstrong was involved in her rape. Tom Petty was involved with Paula Cole. David Griffin was involved with Laura Branigan. And possibly Tiffany. Whitney Houston. Omar Palacios is involved with Whitney Houston. And they're doing the same thing to military women over and over and over again. So they're going to be charged with crimes against humanity, crimes against women, crimes against children, and crimes against animals. Crimes against women is what we're focusing on now. They forced my regular cycle, killed 2 cops, and this bitch, I heard her voice earlier, in the movie Dogma, DOGMA. A couple of movies to be looked into. Dogma, DOGMA, with Selma Hayek. In the Time of the Butterflies with Selma Hayek. And Pedro Armendariz Jr. You may have to look at it. I think it's subtitled in English. So they're barking up the wrong tree because I'm a Latin American studies major. I know movies, and I didn't see that here. I was just a movie buff. I just didn't tell anybody that. So in the Time of the Butterflies, Selma Hayek, and she looks like Ana Margarita Garcia in that movie. Or is it the movie Frida Kahlo with Diego Rivera, where she looks like Ana Margarita Garcia, and aka Stephanie Racino's MSW? Put that all together. One of the women in the Time of the Butterflies looks just like Genevieve Garibay, Chicano studies major. I think she was supposed to graduate in '95 or '96. I was Latin American studies major. She politically targeted me in '95 when she became my friend. Genevieve Garibay turned out to be class clown of Lafayette, Louisiana. Safe space for children, with the pink little collar around the neck, threatening the DA office across the way from 812 Jefferson, Carp Diem, 70501. It's a lot involved here. I got some hard evidence against them. My stomach hurts. For some reason, they're trying to force me back into LA Fitness because they're trying to affect my beauty, gender hate crimes, expression of my gender identity. They really hate me looking pretty like the other. That really irks the shit out of them. So they're trying to force me back there to somehow facilitate my getting kicked out for whatever reason, getting me into trouble. They've done the same thing here at the John Wooden Center. I had 2 months paid in advance after OPCC did the exact same thing, illegally accused me of using racial slurs, and Kevin Gain was not present that day of the police report that I officially made against Jeff Skinner with the Santa Monica Police Department. I can prove it. I have the police report, 333 West Olympic Boulevard, 90401. Rumors going around that Kevin Gain's program manager is fucking Jennifer Lopez and Stephanie Racines. I don't know about Selma Hayek, but they're connected to that part of Hollywood, and they're Arcadiana, Lafayette. They're anti-military, and they treat us accordingly. Illegally 86 me for a year. I posted it on Twitter. Twitter ended up locking me out of my account deliberately. I have about 6,000 pictures and evidence of a Watergate. So Twitter pulls the same thing that Facebook pulls, and all goes the evidence, and they're all gloating. Too bad you don't have the evidence, like this prick in front of me, dark blue, about the evidence that all the pictures I have on Facebook. And Zuckerberg needs to be held accountable. Twitter needs to be held accountable. And it's these fucking goddamn forsaken putas, goddamn whores. I'm telling you what these putas do, what they do for their putas. I'm telling you, OPCC included. So I'm a good standing with LA Fitness as far as I can tell, and I haven't caused any problems. But I like private enterprise. I like taking showers without being harassed and called a nigger, a kike, or a beaner at OPCC in the shower. Some woman who looks like Anise Parker, big tits, a whole bit. I mean, without any violence, you know. And they 86 me illegally because I reported Jeff Skinner for a battery. He backhanded me one day while I was walking back and forth at 503 Olympic Boulevard, the front of it. So when I get restless, I walk back and forth sometimes just because to release the energy. He was standing right up front wearing a baseball cap. That's what you typically wear, baseball caps, a light colored baseball cap. I think it's related to Amanda Knox too, by the way, FYI. I walked past him. He did this to me. It's like, oops, you walked into my hand, back slap. Oops, you walked into my hand. And I looked, and I'm like, you know, and I didn't, I called the police. I took a police report, and they told me, I was told that I need to step outside and eat outside of OPCC for the volunteer groups that day. And I spoke to Trayvon. He goes, "What's up to the volunteers?" And then he spilled punch on my leg. I ignored it it was a kind of an assault. And then the next day I was completely 86 from both of them. I was told not actually. It was that same day I was told that I could not come back to eat at all, and it was because I reported Jeff Skinner, and I've got the actually police report. The cop was actually in front of OPCC, handed me a police report, and it's in the system, and for permanently for a year. And from my understanding, they don't ever 86 anybody out of there, probably just for a few weeks. It's just them FSP recipients and Occupy. And they're all mostly deregistered. Sex offenders. I got this live. It's live right now, and these idiots are interfering. Curfew is in. Our martial law is in. The good guys are safely put away, and we've isolated the enemy, ISIS. They're all ISIS. It's not a coincidence that they're coming and attacking colleges, so we've got the general population safe and sound. Now they know. It's not a coincidence. A lot of military stuff on campus that they haven't noticed. Tough. I already showed it to you guys earlier. We know it from the get-go. The minute they bring that shit here that causes shit like this is biological warfare. The minute they do something like this, I'm used to it. I know how to handle it. The minute they do something like this, you know, they can receive the death penalty. And then it keeps shocking my heart. So it's over. They're not leaving campus without us being on their ass after a while. So LA Fitness, you know, I'm in good standing. So I have private enterprise, you know, and I can have some showers. They affect food, hygiene, and shelter, civil rights violations from the get-go. And they believe I suffer from schizophrenia. I don't. So they come at me thinking that I'm suffering from schizophrenia, and just the way they do with other people from suffering from PTSD or Tourette syndrome, they exacerbate that through abuse to get them to kill themselves, etc. They've done it before. San Diego Reader knows what I'm talking about. The number of homeless deaths doubled this year. I read that column this past year in the San Diego Reader. They're interfering. They're involved. I read that column in the San Diego Reader. The number of homeless deaths doubled this year. In San Diego Reader, the number of homeless deaths skyrocket and then doubled this year. And they're all responsible for it. Don Burke at the top of the list, Bono and U2. What is he going to do? Bono going to hit me? Son of a bitch. Then he sent two of his people to Ackerman A level 1. They're asking to be butchered. They really are. So keep an eye out for Bono, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Aerosmith, OPCC, Ghetto, Hospitality House. I've named all of them. They're all on here, and that's it. And we need to go after. And we're gonna. I'm the military, Department of Defense. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. If you're looking at this, you have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you. ... You need to be charged with crimes against humanity during peacetime, crimes against women, crimes against children, civil rights violations, ADA crimes, Americans with Disabilities Act, for trying to war on a peaceful nation. This is not a Third Reich. Get it through your fucking head, J-Lo. And being stalked. Stalking led to murder, enslavement, mental abuse, and physical abuse. Stalking is now a crime against humanity, and political targeting is now a crime against humanity. Bye-bye putas. And whoring around is now a crime against humanity because you killed minorities and children with it. Police have got a whore working over here at Rubio. They killed Stacy Q. And there's a Brazilian woman that they're making fun of, and they're making fun of Mexicans. I took pictures of all of that section at Rubio's, and it's already online. You can go and look at it, guys. Thanks, bye. They're the ones who are watching, not the other way around. Thanks, bye.